Thank you, Ron, for inviting us today. Hello, my name is Hassan Musaid. I am a principal solution architect with Amazon Web Services. In today's webinar, we're going to be talking about the power of combining generative AI, which is Amazon Bedrock, and our purpose-built services for healthcare and life sciences. This would allow customers and builders to innovate and quickly create solutions to meet their business outcomes and eliminate some of the pain points that the healthcare industry is facing today. I have with me Arun and Ferno, and we're going to be just dividing this presentation in 3 sections. So we're going to be covering Amazon Bedrock. That's our generative AI offering from AWS. We're going to be talking about different purpose-built services for healthcare and life sciences. With the click of a button, you can deploy those solutions. Like you can create a Fire data store. It's called Health Lake. You can create health imaging data store to store DICOM images and metadata about images. And there are other purpose-built services. We're going to focus today on only 2 services because we don't have that much time. We're going to focus on Health Lake, that's our Fire data store, and health imaging. And last, we're going to cover one common use case to automate the process of generating insights from unstructured documents using our intelligent document offering called Amazon Bedrock Automation. So first, we're going to start with Bedrock. Andy Jassy, Amazon CEO, shared 3 valuable lessons from Amazon's own experience building generative AI applications across the companies. The first is that the cost of compute running those generative AI applications really matters. People are hungry for better price performance, and AWS continue to focus on reducing the cost of running those Gen AI applications and LLMs, and also improving the performance. The second, which is really quite difficult, which is to build a really good generative AI applications. And within Amazon, we work with a lot of customers, partners, and builders to help them build those really good generative AI-based applications that can really solve specific problems or requirements or achieve a specific goal. The third, which is the diversity of the model being used. So model choice is important. It's critical in development. It's critical in the development of AI-based applications. While models continue to evolve and they become better and better over time, models need to fit their use case, and there is not one model that will rule them all. So Amazon Bedrock, as some of you is aware, is designed to be the easiest way to build and scale generative AI applications. It has different advantages. You can choose the best model for your specific healthcare life sciences use case. You can focus on cost, you can focus on latency, accuracy, or you can combine all of them. Bedrock allows you to customize those models with your own healthcare and resource data. So there are fine-tuning. You can upload your own model to Bedrock using custom model import, and you can train it against your own data set. And everything that you use, it's in your virtual private cloud, so those models do not have access to it. We don't use your data to train those models. So the privacy and security is basically was built in from day one within Bedrock. You can also build and orchestrate AI agent to automate complex healthcare workflows. That's agentic AI, and really ease of use is the key. For example, I'm just going to show you the console here. As of today, there are 184 models that you have access to. And just through the console, you can basically open the playground and you can start using those models and interacting with those models. Like, for example, this one, Nova, write a book about, or just outline, an outline about a book for Bedrock. So this is just basically, you can try different models. You can fine-tune the models. You can use agentic AIs through the console, and everything is accessible through the API. It's a single API. You just need to change the model ID, and you should be able to change from one model to another to meet that specific use case. So this one, there are lots of models available in AWS, and the latest one is Amazon Nova. So Amazon Nova are new generation of foundation models that was announced in reInvent last year. It does include understanding models that accept text, images, and video input and generate text output. It also includes creative content generation models that accept text and image input and generate image or video output. And basically, there are 6 types of models. There is Amazon Nova Micro, that's text-only model that delivers the lowest latency and at the very low cost. You have Nova Lite, which is multi-model, that is fast for lightweight text, and there are other models as well that can generate videos, that generate images, and others. So those are the latest models within Amazon. And there are others. In addition to Amazon Nova family, Bedrock offers impressive variety of models from leading Gen AI providers like Anthropic's Meta, Datyama, and Stable Diffusion, and others. If the previous models from the previous slides are not enough, there are more options through the marketplace. Like I said, this number continues to change on a daily basis. The more models we add, the latest one is DeepSeek, for example. You can deploy it with a simple click and you can start using it. You also have access to Bedrock custom model imports. So you can import your own model into Bedrock using custom model import, and you can start using the API and start using the guardrails and start using all the features that is available to you through Bedrock. The last one is SageMaker Jumpstart. So basically, you can bring any model, whether it's open source or commercial model, and you can upload it to SageMaker Jumpstart and start using it as well. Of course, Agentic AI, which is a powerful tool that can allow you to create agents and made it easier to design fully managed agent workflows through a series of different feature launches. So again, it's easy of use, and you can create those agents to either improve clinical workflow or probably try to answer different questions or manage different type of documents using Agentic AI. Those are some of the use cases that Bedrock can solve, like multi-agent collaboration support. This can automate complex workflows in drug discovery, medical device development, and clinical trials. And model distillation, which allows you to use a smaller, faster, and more cost-effective model, which is crucial for real-time healthcare applications. For example, if you want to generate insight in real time, you can use smart models that can answer questions quickly and can provide you insights in real time. Bedrock knowledge bases have been enhanced with features for healthcare life sciences research. There are custom connectors for diverse data sources. For example, you can connect to your own Fire data store. You can connect to HealthLake. You can connect to your PAC system for DICOM images. And also, you can use natural language queries that dynamically convert to SQL. So you can just ask questions in natural language. It's going to convert it to SQL, and you can start querying your own either Fire data store or DICOM metadata store or any relational data store for that matter that support SQL. So I covered briefly Bedrock. So now it's all about Amazon purpose-built services, and there are a variety of purpose-built services that you can use. Amazon HealthLake, which is our Fire data store, so you can convert, store, transform, and transact with health data in minutes. So within a few minutes, you can just launch your own HealthLake data store, and you can start medical resources like patient records, like medications, immunization, and other type of records. Amazon Health Omics. It does transform genomics, protein, and other omics data into insights. You have health images, which you store, transform, and analyze medical images in the cloud at petabyte scale, and that's something we're going to cover briefly today. And the last one is Amazon Health Scribe, which automatically generates clinical notes from patient-clinician conversation. So Amazon Health Lake is our FHIR data store where you can store data in a FHIR format, and you can also you can connect it to other AWS services like QuickSight if you want to generate visual dashboards, or you can connect it to SageMaker and Bedrock to generate insight about patients. Some of the use cases are basically you can build highly responsive transactions and event-driven for clinical applications to generate insights about patients, to enhance patient experience, regulatory compliance. So you can develop FHIR-based solutions to meet specific regulatory compliance because nowadays you have to share data resources whenever the patient asks for it. You can also use it for analytics purpose by creating your own machine learning algorithms or using, for example, foundation models from Bedrock or using SageMaker and connecting it with FHIR data source. And you can use NLP to automatically extract insight from your unstructured data set, so it become a structured data set. So for those that are in the healthcare industry, healthcare is fully managed healthcare data storage, and it is HIPAA eligible service. So basically, it does comply with different regulatory requirements. And this one, just briefly, how does Amazon Health Lake work? As you can see, Health Lake is in the middle and serves two use cases. As a transactional FHIR server and also for analytics cases. So on the right side, so what you see here, you see the Amazon Health Lake. It's a data store, and it is exposed through FHIR APIs. And behind the scene, you have interaction with different APIs with different AWS services like Amazon Comprehend. If you have, for example, a clinical document and you want to extract insight or medications or diagnostic from those medical documents, you can use Comprehend and you can store it into Health Lake data store. Also, you can easily integrate it with other services within AWS. One of them is QuickSight. We can start creating visual dashboards. Like, for example, you can create a graph for your patient cohort. You can also use SageMaker to create different ML models, or use generative AI, or use Bedrock to really interact with Amazon Health Lake with some type of chatbot. Like, provider can ask questions about, give me what is the total number of my patient visiting me today? You can get that answer. How many patients are they taking specific medications? You can get the answer using some chatbot that is using Amazon Bedrock foundation model like Nova Lite or other types of model. So some of the Health Lake features and benefits, it's really reduced total cost of ownership with fully managed pay-as-you-go. And it's scalable, it is highly available, and it is secure. And it scales to petabytes of healthcare data with the sub-second API response type, so the latency is quite good. It's unified to a common data model with pre-built analytics and EML integration. And it does experience the highest level of AWS data security and compliance. Like I said before, Health Lake is HIPAA eligible, and you can use it. With that, I'm gonna pass it on to Arun.
Thank you, Hassan. Wow, that was a packed agenda. Ron, kudos to you for pulling this together, and thanks for giving us this opportunity. So now I will dive deep into AWS health imaging and also walk through a high-level architecture, right? First off, some statistics. Hassan and I had an opportunity to participate in the RSNA, conference, the Radiology Society of North America. And that was my first time. And believe me, it was completely global, right? There were representation worldwide, right? That proves the point that the digital data in healthcare is a worldwide problem, right? So 30% of all the data worldwide is clinical data. If that did not surprise you, 90% of that 30% data is medical imaging purely, right? So that's where the importance of handling the medical imaging comes into play. Hassan, if you can move on. Uh, the the trend shows that with the increasing data volumes, there is a lot of challenges that are in play, right? There is obviously new demands. There is security concerns like what Sarah talked about, Tom talked about, right? So it's data protection, it's how we handle the data. So there is a significant number of trends evolving, specifically in the medical imaging arena, archiving and DR of the imaging, there is a lot of need for AI coming into play, right? So, who sees these as an opportunity? It's both the PACS VNA vendors as well as the hospitals and the data centers in the hospitals are reaching their storage capacity as well. So the problem is across the board, but I'll quickly walk through some of the solution aspects of how health imaging can solve this. With health imaging, what we give here is a single copy of the patient imaging data, right? So it's more of a data store where you put all your data and then you can retrieve them in sub-second latency, right? So that is of significant impact because in healthcare, you don't want to be sitting in a doctor's office and waiting for the technician to retrieve the image, right? We want the latency and the accuracy, and we don't want to do this at an increased cost, right? So the importance of maintaining one copy of all the medical imaging is significant, and it's going to bring your cost down by at least 40% from what we have seen. And I'll show you how a typical health imaging architecture will look like across different portions of the architecture. So first off is the data ingestion, right? So the DICOM files from these medical imaging devices or from your PACS on-premise functionality, right? So it will need to be brought into AWS in the S3 buckets, right? So we have a lot of tools which could help you with that, like Snowball if you want to do offline data migration from your PACS or your medical imaging devices, or you can use AWS Data Sync for online data migration, right? Once the images are imported, right? Let's take an example of a clinician importing DICOM files from CT for a CT study, right? Typically, the if you're importing just one file, say 50 MB of data set, it is uploaded in seconds, right? If you're uploading large number of data, you can use parallel import jobs, right? Typically, what we see is health systems can import up to 1 petabyte of data, the DICOM data a day. And now comes the critical part of storage, right? So all of these images that you're importing gets stored with the pixel data separate and the metadata separate. That's the uniqueness of health imaging, right? So when you have to retrieve the image, just for a viewer, you don't have to retrieve the entire data. Or if you have to use the metadata for a subsequent processing, say analytics or something like that for a subsequent processing, you don't have to retrieve the pixel information, right? So the data is stored in AWS managed storage. So you don't have to do the data management. So what that means is you there is something called intelligent tiering in our S3 storage, if you're familiar with that. But in this context, you don't even have to be familiar with that, right? Because health imaging takes care of that behind the scenes, right? It puts your most active data in a tier that it can be accessed fast and it automatically uses its intelligence and puts the less frequently used data in a tier which is very cost effective for you. It does it behind the scenes for you, so you don't have to worry about it. And that's how the cost efficiency comes in play. Um, Now, the data access, right? So, health imaging is more of a data store. Now, to access this data, you could use a viewer like OHIF, right, which is an open source image viewer. The retrieval of the image data or the pixel data, you can do this through cloud native APIs, right? So just like any other AWS service which you access through APIs, you could access the image data or the pixel data using APIs too. And the providers or the healthcare team can open the images in milliseconds using these APIs, right? The sub-second retrieval is achieved through the optimized storage and the access patterns that I talked about. Now coming to the integrations that you could do in this architecture, you could do HL7 messages with other clinical systems to integrate with them. So the other clinical systems can retrieve the metadata using HL7 messages, or you could have a workflow database that can be used to maintain real-time views of the patient demographics and the metadata, right? So, from a rendering perspective, you could do either client-side rendering or server-side rendering, right? Cloud-based packs or pack systems. We in RSNA we saw multiple. We had demos of other pack systems who were built on AWS Health Imaging. Just like how Sarah is our partner in Trellix. They have built their system on security using AWS. There are multiple PACS and VNA vendors who have built their PACS systems using health imaging and other building block AWS services underneath their hood. Uh, Now comes the most interesting part or the most talked about part, right? Analytics and Gen AI. So the images can also be used with services like AWS SageMaker or Bedrock for your AML tasks, right? Um, and the integrations can be done with the it can be you can also allow multi-model data queries, right? For your imaging needs, genomic needs, or like a EHR need to maintain the data in a different format and so on, right? So that's a quick summary of the architecture. And from a benefits perspective, I want to just summarize the sub-second image retrieval, uh, cost reductions. We have seen up to 40% by just bringing all of your storage into one single copy. You don't have to manage the infrastructure. It's managed infrastructure. Storage is managed. There is petabyte level storage, scalability, support for multiple integrations and workflows. That's at a high level what I wanted to call out. I wanted to talk about one more AWS service, right? It is very close to what we talked about in medical imaging. It's called intelligent document processing. So with AWS, with intelligent document processing, while health imaging is revolutionizing how we handle medical images, IDP transforms how healthcare organizations can manage textual documentation, right? Together, these both services or both solutions make a great play. But specifically on IDP, there are multiple ways how ADP can play a role across the healthcare industry segments, right? Uh, from patient onboarding through compliance, medical record management, it can save your document processing time. Say, when you're doing your patient onboarding, there is significant paperwork, right? Every time, I mean, you all have gone through it, right? There is significant number of papers you have to fill, you have to scan and send in the checkout. So there is a lot of potential there. Clinical documentation, all of the clinical documentation, right? Each of us would have had at least one occurrence of an insurance error where you were wrongly billed and you have to pick up a phone and call, right? So with intelligent document processing, the error rates can be brought down, right? And overall, the cost per document can be brought down, right? And sometimes in multiple cases, there are denials, right? You apply a claim and it gets rejected. Most of the cases, the denials we see are because of the incorrect code assignment, the medical coding and billing assignments, right? So the accuracy and the processing speed of these are very important, right? That's where AWS has a packed solution, which will help you improve some of these metrics, right, across the various opportunities that we talked about. So my colleague Frenel here will dive deep into the multiple phases of IDP and walk you through the architecture. Over to you, Frenel.
Thanks, Arun. Hey everyone, I'm Frenel. I'm a solutions architect based out of Boston in AWS. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yep.
can.
Okay. So as Arun mentioned, IDP or intelligent document processing, it can be broken down into five major phases. So phase one is where we capture the data and store it. So for all healthcare and life sciences organizations, this involves ingesting and securely storing medical records, clinician notes, insurance claims, and other healthcare documents. Ensuring that this data is captured in a HIPAA compliant manner is absolutely critical. Then we move to phase two, which is classification. So, documents like intake forms, physician notes, radiology reports, they need to be accurately classified to allow the downstream processing to be tailored for a specific document type. Phase three is where extraction from the documents really takes place. Key information like patient demographics, diagnoses, procedure codes can be extracted from these clinical notes and medical records. This structured data is now ready to be integrated with the electronic health record EHR systems. Phase four is where we enrich or validate these documents. This extracted data can now be validated against sources like lab results and pharmacy records to ensure they're accurate. Enrichment also includes linking patient information to additional data, like social determinants of health, to provide more context. And finally, we have analytics. Analytics on this processed healthcare documents help customers uncover trends in disease progression, treatment patterns, as well as patient outcomes. All of these insights together help make an informed clinical decision making, care coordination, or population health management strategies. So let me go over to the next slide where we show an example of how this can be achieved with IDP, with generative AI. So over here, we showcase multiple different services, which gives you different options on how you want to create a powerful document processing solution. First step is as ingesting it into a secure location, like Arun mentioned, which could be an S3 bucket. A second aspect is where we use native AWS AI technologies like Textract and Comprehend to automatically extract data and classify these documents into appropriate categories. Um, Additionally, this can further be enhanced by using generative AI, such as Amazon Bedrock, where you can ingest these documents, use one of the foundation models that are available on Bedrock, and with proper context, be able to extract the exact information that you are looking for to help your customers. And to unlock even more value, you can actually uh, integrate it with other purpose-built services like Amazon Q, which will help you take natural language questions and summarize some of these documents or answer questions or other cognitive aspects of your workflow. This end-to-end processing pipeline is powered by AI services and helps you unlock the full value of your unstructured data. I'd like to go over to the next slide and give an example. So this is where AWS has helped Accenture really develop a solution that leverages SageMaker Jumpstart and Textract to automate the creation of regulatory documents. By incorporating GenAI capabilities, Accenture was able to achieve 40 to 45% reduction in the time required to author regulatory documents. and also 60 to 65% decrease in the time needed to author common technical documents, resulting in significant efficiency gains. Um, Going to the next slide is where I want to show a different viewpoint. Uh, Diving deeper into generative AI, I want to introduce Bedrock Data Automation, which is a cloud-based service that simplifies the process of extracting valuable insights from unstructured content. This is like documents, images, and videos. You have the choice to access across different modality: video, text, images. You have the security and governance that Bedrock already provides. So you can rest assured that the best practices, you have the ability to implement the best practices that are available to Bedrock. You can customize your multimedia ETL pipeline, whether it's custom schema or a predefined format. BDA gives you the flexibility to extract the data in the way that works best for your organization. Going to the next slide. The idea is BDA simplifies these approaches by transforming different modalities of unstructured content by using GenAI applications. It reduces development time by 80% for workflows, automation such as intelligent document processing, and other such use cases. So if we skip over to the next slide, this is where I want to showcase, the use cases where basically not just IDP, but BDA can also help you across different use cases. As Arun mentioned, you can create a GenAI powered medical image analysis solution, which can analyze your X-rays or MRIs, and also create conversational patient engagement systems. In the interest of time, I'd like to go over to the last slide that I have, where I want to showcase how BDA can help you with a particular use case. In this case, I've taken the example of a claims management system where we're able to use BDA and other AWS services to create an automated pipeline where your claims can be can be worked on by using the power of generative AI, thereby reducing the time for for a patient to receive the right care and the right price, and also to be able to help companies make sure that they are able to take data-driven decisions along with Gen AI.
Thank you, Fernald. So, Ron, we are done. This is the end of our presentation today.
Yeah, and we kind of went over a lot of topics, all right? And if you're interested in anything, you want to see a deep dive demo, or you want to understand further, feel free to write to us or contact through Ron. We will be happy to dive deep and walk you through more.